Sorry about that. A little technical difficulties. Welcome to LOCKBEARD PHENOMENA number 84, Dragons and Panthers. It's April 15th, 2023, Saturn's Day. And also, I think it's tax day, too, for those who wait till the last minute for that nonsense in the United States, where you pay a slave master for the privilege, I guess, to be able to earn your own money. And yes, it is slavery. Whenever the master keeps his cut of your work output, that is slavery every single time. Income tax is slavery. So that anyone who would argue with that is a willing communist slave and doesn't deserve American liberty. That's all I can say about that shit. Holy crap. All right. Angel's here, Sleeping Beauty, Mr. Lee. Let me get to the top though. So it seems like Troy was here first, and then Nikon. Arg. Finally got notification from YouTube. Icon says, ladies here. Saying hello to everybody. Mr. Lee. Angel Sleeping Beauty. Everybody getting their highs and hellos in, I see. Mr. Lee says I had a ribeye for my dinner. Big side of fat on it. Yum. Yeah. The fat's the best part. The fat is the best part. Especially if you put a little char on it, brown it. Yep. Lady says that does sound good. Had that yesterday, Mr. Lee says Sleeping Beauty, only meat. Good deal. Hopefully we'll get a lot more people converted to only meat. You know, I don't know. Mr. Lee, what's a particular thing? Because there's there's a huge list of things that are proof of this. Because it is a proven fact. If anyone's on the fence about this, look, it's a proven fact. It's just that people don't want to listen. You've been told this bullshit your whole life, and you know, something like a salad is healthy for you. And a bunch of people repeat that. They don't know anything about the science behind it. Like, can you tell me why is a salad good for you? You don't know. You don't know. Oh, I have fiber. Well, let me show you a study where it proved that fiber not only doesn't help you, it's actually detrimental. It harms you. You're not meant to eat fiber. You don't have a huge hind gut like a gorilla. You see that big old bulging belly on a gorilla? They're supposed to have that. You wonder why humans are getting all swelled up like that? Because you're eating shit that's not even meant for you. You're not supposed to have a big swollen belly like that, but it can't get like that. The organs aren't there, though. The organs aren't there, so it's mostly fat. So, yeah. Initially, we got to keep working on people because the reality is we will save lives. We will save human suffering. The more people switch more and more, at least know, again, I'm guilty of not sticking to it all the time because I get a craving for something. But the good thing is I know what I'm supposed to be eating, and I know when I start seeing the negative symptoms. Because sometimes if I get to eating too much stuff that's bad and it starts hitting me, like where I feel like I'm about to pass out or something like that, I know what it is. I know exactly what I need to do. Well, the first thing I need to do is just stop eating altogether for a little bit. Just have water. And then get back to eating purely meat, and the symptoms will go away. So, yeah, old soldiers here, welcome. I feel like I've cured myself of diabetes like 50 different times. Because the symptoms completely go away. They're just gone. You eat what you're supposed to eat, you're not sick. I mean, it's real simple. There's a cause. You don't just look. You're not programmed to just break down all the time and have 1,000 different diseases. You know, autoimmune and obesity and heart disease and cancers and a whole bunch of different cancers and mental disorders, and all this stuff is caused by food. because this is a biochemical situation. All of this is, you disrupt any of it, and it will cause all kinds of different problems. And which kind of problems you get kind of depends on your individual genetics, but you will get some kind of problem if you don't eat what humans are designed to eat. Like mine, medium rare. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, there you are. Yeah, I've missed you this week, man. Been trying to catch up. Yeah, where you been, man? Where have you been? It doesn't matter. The proof my budget says no way to be an exclusive carnivore. Well, Mr. Lee, you want to handle, because I mean, myself as well as a whole lot of other people have had the same experience. Because your hunger level, one, you're getting proper nutrition, so your body isn't crying out for, because it's getting what it needs, so your hunger levels go way down. You end up eating way less food. Like I said, I was weighing out and tracking everything for years in the gym. I was just, it was ridiculous how much I was tracking stuff. Every rep, everything was weighed out, you know, and documented in my little notebook. So I knew exactly what was coming in. And you know, I had an electrical impedance, the scale device, so I knew to measure that and document that under the same conditions at the same time each day, and so on and so forth. And so I know I was eating a quarter, somewhere between a quarter and a third as much food as I used to. Like I dropped the amount of food I was eating by 67 to 75%. So what's that do for your budget, right? Because you're buying a lot less food. You were still eating meat before. You were just eating a whole bunch more food because your body was crying out with more hunger for you to eat. Like, you naturally will go to work. If you're eating 3 meals a day, you'll start to not want to eat so much. And you may drop to 2 meals. You may drop to 1 meal. Sometimes I was only eating every 48 hours because I just wasn't hungry. And on top of that, if you know, people want to think, if they think long term, but the cost, you know, the cost of all that medical care is going to way destroy that whole issue right there anyway, in the long run. You know, even if it did cost you more to eat, but it doesn't cost you more to eat as long as you're not buying a bunch of, like, you're not supposed to eat ribeyes all the time. Because you can't do that. Like, it's been a long time since I had ribeye. Now, what you can do is get your crock pot and throw, you know, a pork butt in there for $1.88 a pound, and you'll eat 4 days on it, depending on how much you eat. You know, $13 worth of meat, you know, is something like 5-6 pounds. And when I was pure carnivore for 6 months, I was eating about a pound a day, typically, not much more than that. So that was like 5 days of food for $13. See, it's not that expensive. And then now you're gonna pay more if you get like beef, but you know, you get some ground meat, throw it in a crock pot. I don't think you're gonna kill yourself if you season it with some ground pepper and some garlic. You know, it's just seasonings. It's not the bulk of it. And then maybe a little bit. I mean, you're gonna have to have a little bit of tomato to make a chili, right? No beans, of course. I can't remember the cost on that because I haven't done that in a long time, but it's not that much, really. You know, you might get cheese and stuff, and depends on, you know, sour cream. You know, you can take it as far as you want, but you can actually keep the cost really, really low because, you know, if you buy the right meats. Like, I bought a while back, they had on sale because the chicken leg quarters, with 10-pound bag was like $5. You know, it's not bad. I tossed all that in a crock pot too. You know, cooked it all up at once, deboned it, and ate on it for a few days. Well, I've done that many times. I'm just saying, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, you can get a program going where you're really saving a lot of money on food. purely carnivore can result in spending less money. You know, you like I said, you don't eat ribeyes. I mean, ribeyes are good if you can afford it, but if you can't afford it, you got to do what you got to do. And so, pork shoulder, pork butts, you know, at Walmart they're $1.88 a pound here, so that's not bad. Or start hunting. You know, if you got an opportunity to hunt, find out where there's some wild hogs and go spear some suckers. Well, I mean, you might not be able to spear hunt, but I'm sure you could, you know, hunt with a proper firearm, and you know, maybe find a family member that'll help you get into it. Or there's ways to make it work where it's even cheaper. But even just buying stuff at Walmart, it's cheaper. Unless I'm trying to beat eating ramen noodles, you're not going to beat that really. But you're also going to die like 10 years young. And my diabetic symptoms will come back hard on that stuff anyway. Sleeping Beauty says she's down 13 pounds. Yeah, if you go hard, pure carnivore, eat as much fat as you feel like eating. If you don't like eating the fat on something, like put a nice brown it, you know, like, you know, let's say you cook that pork butt up, you know, pull it out. Here's what I recommend someone do. If you cooked it in a crock pot, pull it out and then put that in a big old frying pan or on a griddle and brown that fat really good. Chop that pork butt up really good and throw it right back in a crock pot with them juices. Don't discard the juices, and it'll take up all that. Like it'll all go back into the meat. Once you chop it up, it all goes back into the meat. And so now you have this chopped pulled pork basically, that's even better because you browned that fat, or you can cut the fat off and brown it. Same thing for corned beef. Like take that fat and brown it. I mean, if you cooked it so bad that it's falling apart, you're gonna have a problem with that. Like you might even try doing it before you put it in a crock pot. See if that helps. I haven't tried it that way, but oh, and with corned beef, make sure you drain it and rinse because it's real salty. But I don't add fluids typically with this. All the fluid comes out of the meat. Then I chop the meat up, and then all the fluid just gets taken back up by the meat when you chop it up. So, Mr. Lee says, I must have gone off vegetable a bit. My appetite gone to 0 recently. Had the bum new hole in best last week. I'm not sure exactly what you said there, Mr. Lee. Ocean Pond says, finally caught you live. Hey there. What's up, Ocean Pond? Welcome. Angel, Old Soldier, Uncle Bones is here. Yeah, this is not the proper venue to talk about dietary stuff too much, although it does apply to Bigfoot. If you are familiar with my theories, my hypotheses would be a appropriate word for it, when it comes to what Bigfoot is and what it's eating and what it should be eating based on its morphological characteristics as described by the most credible sources. And the PG film, for that matter, if you take the PG film as a film of a legit Sasquatch woman. Mr. Lee says, yes, I do not feel the hunger so much, especially not breakfast or lunch. Yeah, if I'm eating carbs, I'm hungry all the damn time. If I'm eating just meat, I have a hard time making myself eat. And I probably don't need to eat. You know, if I'm not hungry, I don't need to eat. Motion Pond, you may not have been able to find me because YouTube keeps deleting my accounts and my channels and all kinds of stuff. This is a brand new channel here, so yeah. So they don't like me talking about certain things that I talk about, but the people need the truth. Millions of people just got murdered across the globe. Daddy Adolf would be proud of these assholes. They literally made people march. Well, they not literally, but basically, it's the same thing as convincing the people to march willingly into the camps to be exterminated. That's what they did. And then they tried to strong arm the rest of them into agreeing to it. See, they're trying to get you to agree to it. They've killed a whole bunch of people this way. It's come out. This information is out. It's just that a lot of people just won't believe it. They just won't believe it. It's exposed, but they won't believe it. Tons of cheese, though. Yeah, cheese is good stuff, man. But there's a reason why. There's a reason why humans crave the cheese, especially if you never get aged meat. Humans are supposed to eat aged meat. You know, for millions of years, we didn't have refrigeration and all that stuff. You killed a big animal, or you ate a scavenged animal that's already been laying around a few days. and before fire, by the way. So you're eating aged animal parts, uncooked, for millions of years. You know, so he killed the animal, and it was, you know, when you talk about a 13,000-pound woolly rhinoceros or some shit like that, well, you're gonna have, basically, you got to camp out around it with your spears, keep the predators off. That's kind of why. That's part of the reason why we probably partnered with wolves that would become dogs today. Dogs and wolves are the same species. Let's make sure everyone fully understands that. Dogs and wolves, same species. They we selectively bred some into all these little breeds, but they're wolves. And we partnered with them. Probably a large part of that is because they would help us guard these huge kills. They get to eat, we get to eat, keep the predators back, the saber-toothed cats, the big leopards and lions that we dealt with everywhere that were bigger than saber-toothed cats. So yeah. Lady says, we are in a wild hog free zone, but I could leap out of trees and kill deer with my teeth. No, humans didn't do it that way. We had tools for our entire existence, as all the way back to the chimpanzees. Even chimpanzees have tools. And they hunt like monkeys and stuff. They just don't hunt a lot. And they don't like use spears and stuff really, but they do hunt. That's why humans don't, I mean, because when you're a predator that evolved from an animal that didn't have claws to start with, like, you're not even going to go down that road. You know, we didn't have claw. You know, look at a chimpanzee's hand. They don't have claws in their hand, and they just weren't heavily designed for that kind of hunting. Humans use their mind and tools. So smells like effed up. Mr. Lee, need to get fixed. Subsistence eater, but like to go off the deep end on occasion. Mr. Lisa Lockbeard, do you see that ramen eating girl on YouTube? Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Lee. Was that you? Who sent me that link? Somebody sent me that link where she was eating that huge big old bowl. I was like, what in the hell? There's Danny representing South Carolina or North Carolina. Which is it? Gonna get them all riled up. Greetings from South Carolina, all you humans in Lee. Lady says, Danny, you are a spicy mood tonight. He is in a spicy mood. Men in Black are harassing you. Those bastards. Playing around, Mr. Lee. Lee knows you love him. It was Tom Cruise, Mr. Lee. Was it Tom Cruise? Media has perpetuated the leftist narrative. They're not even media at this point. No, they're straight up propaganda. Straight up propaganda. I don't know why anyone's listening to them, left or right. But what's really exasperating to me is that we have a lot of evil stuff going on, and there are people who simply don't even want to say anything or be involved. You got to speak up. If you don't speak up now and say, take a stand and vote accordingly, even though, but also by making sure that the vote is secure, right? Because it wasn't last time. We all know it wasn't. We all know the real president, the fairly elected president of the United States right now is supposed to be Donald Trump. As messed up as that is, it's supposed to be Donald Trump. And evil has taken over our government illegally. So, but you gotta speak up. If you don't say something or do whatever you can in your little corner of things, it's the same as sitting there and letting Adolf do what he did, right? Just sitting back saying, "Oh, it's not my problem. I'm not going to say anything." Blah blah blah. I've run into situations where someone that I knew when I was young a little bit and been interacting with some online who is an atheist, and this person, I tried everything to get this person to disavow some of the evil shit that's been going on lately. And basically the result ended up being is I had to tell the person, say, look, just because you're an atheist doesn't mean you have to latch onto and believe wholeheartedly in every cult piece of far left crap that comes down the pipe. An atheist does not have to be liberal on everything. You don't. It's weird. It's like the atheists have been programmed like a religion, like a cult, to adhere to every freaking leftist, far left liberal piece of crap idea that there is. They think because they're atheists, they have to be far left. You do not. You absolutely do not. You could be an atheist and also be very pro pew pew and freedom seeds. Why but that's not even the bit. Like, the big issues is what I was trying to get this person to say is that they disavow the sexualization of kids in the schools. I was like, there is absolutely no reason for drag queens to go into schools and expose these kids to these sex workers, because that's what a drag queen is. A drag queen is a type of sex worker. And this person would not do it. I'm like, look, if you won't take a stand against that, you're basically standing with pedos. You understand this, right? Do you see? But they've been programmed by the left that they have to stand with every leftist idea or stand against anything that Republicans believe in. I mean, they've really done a good job of conquering the nation, where people they're going to pick a team and they will stick with that team, even though they completely support pedos, right? The Democrat. I'm sorry if you're a Democrat, but the fact is the Democrat Party right now is in full support of straight up pedophilia, right before our eyes, and I mean, damn. So I figured that at some point I was like, I'm wasting my time talking to this person. This person's wasted too much of my time talking to them. They are straight up brainwashed. An atheist person who thinks they think logically is straight up brainwashed. And again, like I said, I've known this person kind of my entire life, and but was never like a close friend with this person or anything like that. So I had no problem just saying, you know what, you're, unfriend, and blocked, because I don't got time to, I got a lot of stuff to do. I don't got time to talk to this person who is obviously completely brainwashed. And I mean, I like letting people talk, but the reality is I don't need to see any more notifications from this person in my whatever they call the notification box. I'm trying to de-escalate Facebook anyway. And this isn't the only one. Like, this is numerous atheist people that I know who have been thoroughly brainwashed by these leftist ideas. They think that because they're atheists, they have to be leftist about every damn thing, and they have to stand with the Democrats for some damn reason. You can actually be a full-fledged Republican, and it's funny, because you'll have like black people run across the same shit, right? When they're conservative, they catch all kinds of hell. Oh, you're not really black, you're a white supremacist. What in the hell kind of shit is that? This maybe they just want to think for themselves. More and more of them are speaking up, though. Black conservatives, good thing there. Some of them are a little too conservative for my tastes on certain things, but whatever. Lady says, why am I suddenly feeling nauseous? Multi-day-old unrefrigerated meat, no thanks now, and 8-year-old cheddar, oh yes. Multi-day, oh. Well, I mean, most people today couldn't just go right to the prehistoric human diet without having some problems. It'd take a while for you to get adapted to being able to eat it. But yeah, the cheddar, the thing about cheeses is what you have there is you have animal fats and proteins that's been decomposed as well. When you hang a cow, a beef, a whole beef in a in a room to age, there's like fungi growing in it, just like a cheese. There's fungi growing in it. It's all in throughout the meat. You just don't see it. You cut the fuzzy part off the outside, and boom, you got an aged steak, and it's a lot better for you because humans have been eating that kind of thing for millions of years. And Danny says, yeah, 2 goofs showed up from the so-called housing authority to make sure my old disabled ass wasn't living like a bum or hoarder. They were dressed like the F Blues Brothers. MIBs. Oh my gosh. You ever thought of just like messing with them? Like just jack with those guys. I mean, hopefully everything's okay though. You don't, they don't try to take away your freedom. Mr. Lisa's LOCKBEARD. I cleaned my dad's fridge out once. Took me 2 hours, man. It looked like someone chucked a bucket of earth in there. Yeah, a lot of people, they do that. They keep putting more and more stuff in there, and instead of making sure, okay, well, am I using this? Like, I've looked in some people's fridge, and you run across 3 bottles of ketchup. I'm like, seriously? You can run out of ketchup and survive. It's like they're afraid they're gonna run out of fucking ketchup. But that, it's just one example. And they just get all the stuff in there. They'll buy stuff and then they'll never use it, and then it goes bad, and then they throw it away. And it's just, people gotta be better with their FIFO action. You know what I mean? First in, first out. Make sure if you're not using something, don't buy it again. Uncle Bones, Sleeping Beauty says, hold Uncle Bones. Danny says, come on, it doesn't matter who you vote for. They already know who the next 3 presidents are. They are in control. Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be very possibly exactly true. I'm just hoping that Donald Trump really is a wild card. Do you feel that he really is a wild card? Because I don't know for sure. Mr. Lee says, Dan, you got wheelchair for special occasions. I can get you 1/2 price. Then he says, I don't need no wheelchair or no rocking chair. I can still strut like Ric Flair. Woo! Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, I saw the Dalai Lama clip on BBC News. That tongue kiss. Oh my God. That a badass. Well, the kid didn't actually suck on his tongue. Thank goodness. The kid was like, okay, even the kid was like, okay, there is something wrong here. I saw somebody trying to make an excuse for this scenario, I think, where they were talking about how it's a custom over there where sticking your tongue out at people is like a good thing. Like it's like here, it's like, oh, it's kind of a insult, but over there, it's like a positive thing. I'm like, yeah, but where's the tongue sucking part come in? where does the part where telling a little kid to suck your tongue come in? I don't know what I said to get the LMAO, but yeah. Danny says, I really like them in the movie They Live. Roddy Piper, most people don't have the IQ or sunglasses. Girlfriend says she laughed her tits off. Says Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee says cheese could not exist without mayo and ketchup. You got to check into how to make your own mayo, Danny. You can make it from like bacon fat or from butter, and make it where it's a fully carnivore mayo. You don't want that soybean oil crap that they sell at the store. It'll give you bitch tits. It'll give you bitch tits, man. I mean, hopefully all men now know that they should stay the hell away from anything soy. That's how we got the left. That's how we got transgender extremists in the schools trying to screw the little kids, because that's what they're trying to do. That's why they're in the school. If you've ever known your normal, everyday trans people, they are not trying to get up in the schools and sexualize little kids and convince them to get operations that they're too young to decide on. That, and I know that might seem funny to some people. What, a normal transgender? Yeah, there's a normal transgender people. There's normal transgender people and there's normal gay people who aren't trying to fuck kids. The reason why I stress that so much is because there appears, well, one, there is a certain segment of the population that can't seem to differentiate in their head the two, right? They got the pedos and the gays all lumped into one. And it's probably partly not their fault, because you have pedos trying to ride the coattails of the LGBTQ community. That's a real goddamn thing that's going on right now. Everyone needs to be aware of that and understand that. And go look at some articles about the gays against groomers, because these are LGBTQ community people who are the normal ones who aren't trying to screw kids and are trying to do something about the pedos that are trying to hijack that LGBTQ train. So look, I can see, because you see more and more backlash is coming against this stuff with the kids and the schools, and it could get way out of hand real fast. And I just hope that everyone realizes and understands that all LGBTQ people are not part of this. We're talking about a very few extremist nut jobs and pedos who are trying to ride the coattails of the normal ones, who are the majority, of the LGBTQ community. Don't get a little Wild West out there. Don't go take an aim at everything that isn't straight. You know what I mean? Please do not do that. Make sure the ones that you're targeting are the guilty. You know what I mean? Shut off my giant fridge last fall and got a little countertop fridge. Saved a ton of Power bill. Yeah. It might help you where you're like, oh, well, I haven't got room to put this damn thing in my fridge, so I'm not going to buy it, you know. So true about the president. Yeah. Duke's mayo, some good stuff. But isn't it still made out of soybean, though? I'm not sure. It seems like I looked at it a long time ago. No Duke's, only Duke's since I was a kid. Mayo's easy to make, says Mr. Lee. Yeah. Yeah, if you get in the kitchen, just do it. You know, you can make it because, like, I mean, look at the ingredients on it. It's like soybean oil, right? Mainly soybean oil and egg and stuff like that. Easy to make. Easy to make. Just YouTube it. Yeah. Carnivore mayo. You make it out of butter or bacon grease or a combination of the two. Lady says mayo equals eggs and oil in about 15 minutes with a whisk in a copper bowl. Good arm workout. Yep. Yep. You don't want that crap they put in a jar at the store, you know, you don't know what's in it. And usually it's soybean oil. You don't want anything from a plant in your mayo. I think I could forgive, you know, like, because a lot of times they put a little mustard in there. That's probably forgivable enough. But yeah, you can make it purely carnivorous mayo, and it's an absolute health food. No matter what look, you gotta trust me on this. You make carnivore mayo, butter, egg, boom. It's a health food. If you don't believe me, go talk to some of those experts that I usually point people to, four in particular: Professor Bart Kay, Dr. Kim Berry, Dr. Anthony Shafee, Dr. Sean Baker. Danny says, when I was in that shithole California, my mom mailed me the Duke's mayo. You couldn't get Duke's in California? Yeah, they probably only allow the mayo with extra soybean oil, double soy mayo in California. That's what happened to California right there. Favorite tomato sauce is Daddy's tomato sauce. We're stuck on food tonight, aren't we? Mr. Lee, is this your fault? Is soup ketchup hunts? Like barbecue sauce immensely, just saying. You dislike? Yeah, I don't really care for barbecue sauce either, Mr. Lee. Usually if I go to a barbecue restaurant, I have to make sure and tell them, so look, you know, no barbecue sauce on my shit. Really, seriously, you're ruining it. I want if I'm gonna eat meat, I want to taste the meat. You know, I don't want barbecue sauce. You know, now when I look at someone they eating a well done steak, I understand why they're putting sauce on it. They cooked it until they destroyed it. They destroyed the flavor of steak. A steak should be rare. A steak should be rare. And if you have a hard time with that, medium rare. But Jesus, if you cooked it well done, why bother? Why bother eating steak? Why ruin a steak? Just get some jerky. Sleep Beasts all have that. They're not all bad. LGBT. No, they are not. I know plenty. And I have also known on occasion those who do not know those that should not be allowed around young children. You know, they should not be a teacher in a kindergarten, that kind of shit. There are those, but that's not all of them. That's not all of them. In fact, it's a minority of them. Danny says, if Dukes could kill you, believe me, I would be 56. I wouldn't be 56. I'm not saying it's going to kill you. I'm just saying, you know, how much jiggle you got in your man boobs. I'm just saying, if it's got soy in it, I don't remember what Dukes has in it. It's probably got soy in it because most of them have soy in it. Mr. Lee says, I put chili sauce in my mayo sometimes. Goes great with fresh prawns and a slice of lemon. Prawns, you say? They don't sell Dukes west of the Mississippi. Is this because of the Dukes of Hazzard? This is Dukes of Hazzard's fault, isn't it? Have you seen that meme? Was that you that posted that meme, Danny? I saw that meme where it was a meme. It had a picture of the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light can, and it said something about why you guys crying about a picture on some tin, and then below it had the Dukes of Hazzard sitting in their car with the Confederate flag showing, and they were saying we were about to ask you the same thing, and we were thinking the same thing about you, or something like that. And then, of course, has been the whole deal with the Aunt Jemima, the Uncle Ben's rice, the Land O'Lakes butter, all having people of color, and a couple of those are women. Apparently, real women and real people of color are really bad to put onto products like that. But you can put a fake woman on there. So I'm trying to figure out the logic there. Like, why did they throw a goddamn fit about representation? I mean, we had some pretty good representation going on there. Then we had the Indian lady on the Land O'Lakes butter. We had Aunt Jemima. We had Uncle Ben. And apparently that was all a problem. The university I went to used to be called the Redmen. Now it's the Riverhawks, because they got woke as fuck, and they were like, oh, forget decades of tradition. We're going to get rid of the Redmen. And they didn't even ask Indian people, I don't guess, or people that are members. Like, I'm a member of one of the so-called 5 civilized tribes that were forcibly moved to Oklahoma. Ask me if I give a shit about the mascot of the university being Redmond. And the answer is no, I don't give a shit. That's stupid. Who gives a shit? Idiots. What did that do? Did that help anybody? Did that erase history? Did you fix history by removing the Redmen and replacing it with the Riverhawks? You people that supported that shit are absolute morons. Oh, you really socked it to them. You really fixed history, you dipshits. Absolute dipshits. Uncle Bone says, Danny, we have in El Paso, Texas. Mr. Lee says, Dan, I bet you can buy Dukes on Amazon. I will check, buy a bottle, do food review for you. Good stuff you will like, I believe. Danny says, no man boobs. I'm Danny, not Fritz. What the? Well, Fritz has been hitting. Look, and I have been afflicted with the same disease that Fritz has. That is the Sonic Shake disease. Like I was rolling into Sonic for a while there every night, and I was always ordering the same thing, like the large Oreo peanut butter shake. It got to the point where I would roll in, pull up to the kiosk thing, or whatever you call that thing. The girl's already walking out with my shake. They saw me turn. They must have saw me coming down the street. Like, they just knew. They're like, oh, here he comes. They had that shake. They whipped that shake out. Of course, it also helps to, tip them. A lot of people don't tip them. Tip your Sonic girl. She'll take good care of you. Not like that, Mr. Lee, you nasty. Thought you were talking about Dragon Pat. Yeah, we'll get to that, Mr. Lee. Yeah, so stupid mascot. Yeah. Oh, lady says throwing shade at Jay Frisch. Told us spicy tonight, Danny. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and when I was doing all that, when I was drinking all them shakes all the time, I was really having a hard time with the weight. It was really after that when I went carnivore. And then carnivore, shit, changed. Just, I don't know. I think I dropped like 45 pounds during that period. I need to really get on it and stick to it again. But I keep falling off the wagon. Mr. Lee says they saw your man boobs first. No. They created them, Mr. Lee. They created them. Perhaps. Perhaps, Mr. Lee. All right. So this is on thottyco.com. What does science say about flying and fire-breathing dragons? Believe it or not, real-life flying and fire-breathing dragons are possible. And I agree with that. It would take a very specific, very specific evolutionary path. Well, there's a number of options, but to get there without something going wrong along the way and preventing it from really happening, but it could happen, and it may have happened. So we'll see what they got to say here. By Anne Helmenstein, PhD. This is a few years old, February 2020. You've probably been told dragons are mythical beasts. After all, a flying, fire-breathing reptile could never exist in real life, right? It's true, no fire-breathing dragons have ever been discovered, yet flying lizard-like creatures exist in the fossil record. Some may be found in the wild today. Take a look at the science of winged flight and possible mechanisms by which a dragon might even breathe fire. How large could a flying dragon be? And you see there in the picture, Quetzalcoatlus had a wingspan of around 15 meters and weighed about 500 pounds. This thing could very well, kill a person and eat them. Scientists generally agree modern birds descended from flying dinosaurs, so there isn't any debate about whether dragons could fly. The question is whether they could be large enough to prey on people and livestock. The answer is yes. At one time, they were. The late Cretaceous pterosaur Quetzalcoatlus northropi was one of the largest known flying animals. Estimates of its size vary, but even the most conservative estimates place its wingspan at 36 feet, with a weight of around 200 to 250 kilograms or 440 to 550 pounds. In other words, it weighed about as much as a modern tiger, which can certainly take down a man or goat. There are several theories about why modern birds aren't as large as prehistoric dinosaurs. Some scientists believe the energy expenditure to maintain feathers determines size. Others point to changes in the Earth's climate and atmospheric composition. Meet a modern real-life flying dragon. While dragons of the past may have been large enough to carry off a sheep or human, modern dragons eat insects and sometimes birds and small mammals. These are the iguanian lizards, which belong to the family Agamidae. The family includes domesticated bearded dragons and Chinese water dragons, and also the wild genus Draco. Draco are flying dragons. Really, Draco is a master of gliding. The lizards glide distances as long as 200 feet by flattening their limbs and extending wing-like flaps. The lizards use their tail and neck flap, gular flag, to stabilize and control their descent. You can find these living flying dragons in South Asia, where they are relatively common. The largest only grows to a length of 20 centimeters or 7.9 inches, so you don't need to worry about being eaten. Dragons can fly without wings. Well, they're using the word fly with these things. These lizards and this snake you're about to see, they don't actually fly, they glide. So there's a little bit of difference. Now the pterosaurs flew, but these creatures here, they do not fly, they glide. Paradise tree snake, Chrysopelia paradisei, can glide 100 meters from tree to tree. While European dragons are massive winged beasts, Asian dragons are more akin to snakes with legs. Most of us think of snakes as ground-dwelling creatures, but there are snakes that fly in the sense they can glide through the air for long distances. How long a distance? Basically, these snakes can remain airborne the length of a soccer field or twice the length of an Olympic swimming pool. Asian Chrysopelia species snakes fly up to 330 feet. By flattening their bodies and twisting to optimize lift, scientists have found the optimal angle for a serpentine glide is 25 degrees, with the snake's head angled upward and tail downward. While wingless dragons couldn't technically fly, they could glide a very long distance. If the animal somehow stored lighter than air gases, it might master flight. How dragons could breathe fire. That's a model of the black and yellow bob the deer beetle with yellow legs, cross section showing venom glands and reservoir explosion chamber filled with red liquid and one-way valve. Yeah, this thing, it does it out the back end, but it's not really fire, but it'd probably do the job. To date, no fire-breathing animals have been found. However, it wouldn't be impossible for an animal to expel flames. The bomb the deer beetle stores hydroquinones and hydrogen peroxide in its abdomen, which it ejects when threatened. The chemicals mix in the air and undergo an exothermic heat-releasing chemical reaction, essentially spraying the offender with irritating, boiling hot fluid. When you stop to think about it, living organisms produce flammable reactive compounds and catalysts all the time. Even humans inhale more oxygen than they use. Hydrogen peroxide is a common metabolic byproduct. Acids are used for digestion. Methane is a flammable byproduct of digestion. Catalases improve the efficiency of chemical reactions. A dragon could store the necessary chemicals until it's time to use them, forcefully expel them, and ignite them either chemically or mechanically. Mechanical ignition could be as simple as generating a spark by crushing together piezoelectric crystals. Piezoelectric materials like flammable chemicals already exist in animals. Examples include tooth enamel and dentin, dry bone, and tendons. So breathing fire is certainly possible. It hasn't been observed, but that doesn't mean no species has ever developed the ability. However, it's just as likely an organism that shoots fire might do so from its anus or a specialized structure in its mouth. But that's not a dragon. The heavily armored dragon portrayed in movies is almost certainly a myth. Heavy scales, spines, horns, and other bony protuberances would weigh a dragon down. However, if your ideal dragon has tiny wings, you can take heart in the realization that science doesn't yet have all the answers. After all, scientists didn't figure out how bumblebees fly until 2001. In summary, whether or not a dragon exists or can fly, eat people, or breathe fire really comes down to what you define a dragon to be. Key points. Flying dragons exist today, and in the fossil record, they are not merely fantasy beasts. While wingless dragons wouldn't fly in the strict sense of the term, they could glide long distances without violating any laws of physics. Fire breathing is unknown in the animal kingdom, but is theoretically possible. Many organisms produce flammable compounds which could be stored, released, and ignited either by a chemical or a mechanical spark. So I really don't think there's going to be there shouldn't be a really big strong pushback against the idea of the possibility of a creature that could spit fire somehow. And the flying part is a done deal, right? Because we've seen a number of very large creatures in the fossil record that were big enough that they could potentially take down a human. If that's a defining characteristic for you of what makes a dragon, does it need to be big enough to kill a person? But the flight thing, done deal. The possibility of spitting fire, I think, is a done deal. The possibility, it hasn't been observed yet. We haven't found evidence of it yet in any creature, but the possibility does seem to be there. Always tip at Sonic. Yeah, so many people don't give them shit, so they're happy when you give them money. Mr. Lee says wingspan must compensate for body mass. Yes. Mr. Lee says Vulture has fantastic homing in ability, and had a stomach that can dissolve metal. Danny says, "I speak only the truth." Dan don't lie. Icon says, "Just sat down to say howdy, and the dog wants to play. For fuck's sake, Bomb the Deer Beetle." Yes, Mr. Lee says. This dragon's sweet. Uncle Bones is listing all the there were all the dragons in fiction. Yep. Yep. And they all tend to be this kind of fantasized design that's probably, if humans ever encountered anything that they might have been referring to as a dragon, it was nothing like the movies. Probably. Mr. Lee says dragons are a mythical creature, as are Sasquatch. What, Mr. Lee? Oh my gosh, you're trying to start a fight with somebody. Have shot fire from my backside, just saying. Have you, Mr. Lee? Miss Uncle Bones tried to hit it, knuckleheads, says Mr. Lee. Yeah, hit it, knuckleheads. Hit it, knuckleheads. Now I think there are a number of possibilities for creatures that humans have encountered that would have led to an oral tradition, stories passed down. And of course, stories as they're passed down, sometimes they get a little inflated, and the fire part might be one of those things that was a little bit of artistic license in some of the old stories. But the humans definitely encountered some big dangerous creatures, and we talk about some of those on here, and the possibility that even some of the dinosaur species might have survived. But even without those, a human encountering a very large crocodile is going to think he encounters some kind of major beast, right? Because crocodiles get really big, or really large python. You get some of these species get 30 feet long and can eat a man. So, yeah, you start telling a story about this monster. It was eating people, and we had to go out and slay this thing. And it was huge, and 30 feet turns into 60 feet, turns into fire-breathing beast. And so one of the creatures, anaconda, says Mr. Lee. Yeah, anaconda, and of course, anaconda isn't the longest. It's the biggest because it's a heavy-bodied python. The longest is the reticulated python. It's got a more of It's a slimmer body design than an anaconda, but it gets longer than an anaconda, and is a pretty vicious creature. And I think that the reticulated python was eating humans very often during prehistory in that area of the world, including Homo floresiensis, the 3-foot tall people, that they're calling hobbits sometimes. Those people were probably getting eaten by reticulated pythons and other large pythons on a regular basis. Lady says YouTube isn't giving me the thumbs up option. No thumbs down either. I will like even if I have to track down the option after the live stream. I don't know why. Why wouldn't it? That's weird. I can see it over here. I wonder what the deal is there. It's crazy. Oops. I don't know how that happened. I'm still here. Let me try to get the share screen up here. Where's Ruthless at when you need him? We're going to talk about Ruthless's country here. Are we still live? Hopefully we are. Somebody give me something in the chat there. Okay, I had to jump over to YouTube. See, it takes a minute for it to come over at StreamYard. You probably saw me disappear there for a second, though. Indeed. Everybody here? All right. So a long time ago, humans, I think, most certainly encountered megalania. And this might be the source of some stories of a giant reptilian type creature, possibly stories of dragons. The biggest ever lizard, the megalania. This is on dinosaurfactsforkids.com, but it still good, covers the subject well enough. And they had this pretty neat picture here of what the megalania might have looked like. Although it could have had all kinds of different coloration possibilities, but it was basically, if you've seen Komodo dragons, it's like a Komodo dragon, only way, way bigger. Now, if you're in the woods where there are Komodo dragons and one manages to bite you and you can't get medical attention and you can't get anywhere, you can't get out of the woods, like, you are going to go down from that bite. It's not a venom, it's a bunch of bacteria and stuff that's going to make you sick until you just go down. And here comes the Komodo dragon and it'll just start eating on you, probably while you're still alive. Well, megalania was way, way bigger than that, though. So humans were probably there and may have contributed to its decline about 50,000 years ago in Australia. 50,000 years ago is not that long ago, especially when you know that means that the humans were around. Humans were probably interacting with this creature. Lizards have been roaming our planet for millions of years, alongside and after the age of the dinosaurs. Although looking very similar and even being used in some early dinosaur movies as actually dinosaurs, they are an entirely separate species. That didn't stop them from growing to dinosaur-sized proportions, though. We look at one giant lizard stands out as the biggest that ever lived, Megalania. Megalania was the largest lizard to ever exist, reaching around 23 feet, weighing about 4,000 pounds. This huge lizard lived in Australia during the Pleistocene epoch between 1.5 million and 50,000 years ago. Its diet included large mammals, marsupials, birds, and other reptiles. We'll take a look at Megalania, a colossal lizard predator that once ruled the Australian landscape. We will look at how big it was, why you can only see fossils and bones today, and what made it grow so big. The largest known lizard ever live, extinct, Megalania varanus priscus, also known as the giant monitor lizard or the giant goanna. This massive lizard inhabited Australia 40,000 years ago. Megalania is a relative of the modern-day Komodo dragon and belongs to the same Varanidae family. The enormous size made it the apex carnivore, being a similar length to a Carnotaurus, which is that freaking thing. At least that's how it's depicted in Hollywood. Let me make sure this come across on the screen. Well, it didn't come through. I'm not seeing it coming through. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. Carnotaurus. So it got about as long as a Carnotaurus. It likely preyed on large mammals such as diprotodontids, which is this thing. Apparently, you can get your very own stuffed diprotodon. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Giant marsupials, what that is. You can check those out on the link. Let's see, other animals inhabited the region of time, including possibly at the end of its time, people. I think it probably very well encountered people because we're finding that we're pushing back the human occupancy dates more and more all the time. It just because the earliest evidence we've discovered in a place is 50,000 years somewhere doesn't mean humans weren't there for another 50,000 years earlier than that. We just haven't found all the evidence yet. And when you are aware of how much destruction occurred between 11,600 years ago and 13,000 years ago, it kind of makes sense why we don't have any more evidence than we do. So much of it has been just absolutely obliterated. How big was Megalania? The biggest lizard in history. Well, they already told us that. 23 feet, 4,000 pounds, robust muscular body, powerful limbs, and a long tail that provided balance and support. Looked pretty much like Komodo dragon, except being about 4 to 5 times as large. Megalania's most intimidating feature next to its size were its enormous serrated razor-sharp teeth, perfect for tearing through the flesh of its prey. The first Megalania fossils were discovered in the 19th century, although only partial fossils. They gave scientists a glimpse into the life of this extraordinary reptile. As only a few complete fossils have been found, it does open up the size estimates to a lot of debate. Although the most recent in 2009 does have the Megalania at its larger range, there have been other estimates suggesting it may only have been 4.5 meters long, although these were later pushed up again to at least 18 feet and 1,300 pounds by the same researcher. Megalania belongs to the Varanidae family, which includes modern monitor lizards, Komodo dragon, its closest relative. Both species share similar physical features, such as a forked tongue, curved, serrated teeth. Komodo dragon reaches a maximum length of 10 feet, weighs 200 pounds. So I guess there's some artist interpretation of what Megalania may have looked like. Although this animal is certainly big enough to take on an individual human, humans were extremely adept predators. You have 10 men with spears, this animal is going to be dead. And that's just all there is to it. Humans, by the time humans would have gotten to Australia, they were very good at killing things. And Megalania would have been hunted, as well as lost a lot of its prey sources to humans eating them. Humans may have even done things like just tracked a Megalania until they find it eating on its prey, and then drove it off its kill and eat, and then the humans eat its kill, because that's something that ancient humans did a lot with other predators. Now, this next paragraph, they kind of say something incorrectly. It's not venom. It's their mouth is just full of all kinds of nasty bacteria that will make you sick and bring you down. But they call it venomous here. With the Komodo dragon being the closest relative to Megalania, it may have also used a venomous bite to help immobilize its victims. If so, this venom would have caused rapid blood loss and shocked its prey, making it easier for the giant lizard to finish its meal. Megalania's immense size and fearsome appearance meant that it had few, if any, natural predators, although it may have had some competition from other large predators that lived at the same time, like crocodiles and the marsupial lion, and then later from people who were also alive at the same time as this biggest of all lizards. Like the black demon, although a much older story, this huge lizard may have inspired the legend of the Wowie, which it was an Aboriginal folklore, a 23-foot long goanna lizard, albeit with 6 legs, that ate people. So yeah, sometimes the legends don't come down 100% correct. We know from the fossils that this giant goanna did exist, but we also know that it only had 4 legs. So this is why when people talk about, Native American legends of Bigfoot, and they want to take all those facts they want to take it all as fact. Okay, somewhere in the legend, sure, there may be a kernel of truth, but do not take every detail of the story as fact. Because we see this time and time again with ancient legends. Look, they may be good at passing down stories, but the stories change. You know that with the game of telephone. You whisper something in someone's ear, and then they whisper it in the next person's ear, and then it goes around the room. And when it gets around the room, it has changed. Humans can't even pass on a story around a room in a few minutes without changing it. And you're going to tell me that thousands of years of oral history is going to come down and be perfectly accurate? No. So, Native American legends, maybe there's a kernel of truth in them. It's not to be taken as an accurate source, though. You can't. We got 6-legged goannas here. Case closed. Extinction of Megalania. The latest of Megalania fossils have been dated to around 50,000 years ago, and none have been found younger than that. There are a few theories as to why it went extinct that include climate change, human intervention, and competition with other predators. Well, the last one there, competition with other predators. The damn thing's been competing with the same predators on the continent, its entire evolutionary history. So that would have to be an introduction of new predators. Well, there was an introduction of a new predator, a really good one. It was called humans. So the humans may be the defining situation there. I don't think climate change would have wiped them out. Climate changes on the planet all the time. It's all the time fluctuating. Stuff happens. The rock hits it. The sun burps. Something happens, and it changes. But Australia is a big enough continent that some portion of the population is going to be able to survive on some place, some portion of the Australian continent. It's not like it's a tiny island and it freezes over and everything's screwed. So, and again, this is another one of those cases where 50,000 years ago, all right, that's the latest fossil that we've found. There's 100% chance that is not the last one that died. So I hope everyone out there understands that this isn't the last one that died. We didn't find the last one that died. They didn't die out 50,000 years ago. They died out sometime after 50,000 years ago. Could have been 40,000 years ago. It could have been last year. There might be a few of them still around because that's not that long ago. There may be a few of these things still lurking around some corner of Australia somewhere. Climate change during the Pleistocene epoch, characterized by fluctuating temperatures and the advance and retreat of glaciers, may have altered Megalania's habitat. Megalania may have struggled to adapt to the changing conditions and dwindling food sources. Competition with other predators may have been a factor. As we stated above, Megalania shared its environment with other predators like the marsupial lion and the giant snake Wanambi. These predators might have competed for the same food sources, at least being a contributing factor in Megalania's extinction, although they had lived together for millions of years prior to their extinction. I don't know. One common denominator, and really the most likely cause, is the appearance of humans on the Australian continent around 65,000 years ago. It is not an isolated incident that species seem to go extinct soon after humans appear. The theory suggests that human intervention played a role in Megalania's extinction. Humans could have competed with Megalania for prey or even hunted the giant lizards themselves, at least helping to cause their extinction. And since they brought up the snake, hold on a second. Giant snakes. Well, I'll just show the... They do have an article here, but they're talking about them living at the same times as dinosaurs. That isn't really what I'm interested in. But, so... I think it probably messed something up. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, can you do a Lockbeard phenomenon? The green man sometimes part of English heritage. Possibly. Probably, Mr. Lee. Big storm moving through. Might lose internet. We'll switch phone if it does. Seen what is that? Commando drag rag? What? In Thailand? They bite you in the poison. Yeah, it's not poison, though. It's not poison. It's bacteria. Hey, just put a short of a picture some guy found at a yard sale. What is it? Anybody know? Initially, it says Natural History Museum. Fantastic. You have similar in America. Looks like a bone. I was trying to see somebody. I don't want to try and jump over on YouTube and try to pull that up. If I try to load up a new page, it can be problematic. Experimental submarine. But freaky, right? The picture is like 40s or 50s. There's a second picture of my channel that no one watches. Possibly experimental jet. Danny says, never saw nothing like that. I think it may something from Germany, World War II. That's what Graham Hancock says. Yes. What did I say, Mr. Lee? Did I say something that Graham Hancock said? You're going to have to clarify that one. Because I don't know what you're talking about there, Mr. Lee. What you talking about, Mr. Lee? You're going to have to explain. You have to explain. Trying to get this other stuff set up here where I can pull it up. It's not being very cooperative with me. I think I got it ready. Mr. Lee says that German fella supposed to have invented a spaceship too. Well, who knows, right? It sounds like he was aware of the previous technologically advanced civilization on Earth. And he may have had in his possession some of their technology. And if they were able to travel into space and all that stuff, which I think that they were, that means that that German fella possessed that technology and maybe figured out how to use it. So who knows? Who knows, Mr. Lee? So, what group was it on Facebook? They were talking about a Black Panther sighting in Jersey. So that sent me down the Black Panther subject here in the last couple of days. Mr. Lee says Australia, the existence of humans dating back further than we have acknowledged. Dig deeper, Hancock says. Yeah. Well, like in America, they just took it for granted, right? They just say, well, if we know, if an anthropologist, if they're looking for human remains, they will not dig. Typically, they will not dig into soil strata that are older than maybe 15, 20,000 years. They won't dig it because they just assume that there's not going to be any human artifacts or bones or any evidence of humans older than that. So they won't dig if they know that soil level that they're looking at is older than 20,000 years old. They won't dig it. But the fact is we have some evidence that's 130,000 years old of human activity in America. So they need to get with the program, stop being knuckleheads. Right, Mr. Lee? Danny says, we have had Black Panther sightings in South Carolina being caught on film and on the news. Yeah, they're trying to deny that there are probably black jaguars, but there could be other stuff going on, even including potentially, black leopard, which you would have in Africa, not here. Well, this gets more because again, when we're talking about the big cats that used to be here, they only disappeared, 13, 15,000 years ago. They haven't been gone long. And they may not actually be gone. There may be some remnant populations of these things left, and they're just very reclusive. Their survival depends on them not being seen, and so we might be dealing with an ancient species of black cat that was here that's not being recognized as even being alive right now by mainstream science. Mr. Lee says, Dan, so have we all over England, Scotland, Wales. Black Panther does exist here. Danny's got a new story. I don't know if I can make this happen or not. I hear the computer starting to spin up, though. Challenging the system. See, stop it. Be quiet. Come on, stop. Jesus. I'll get it popped up here in a second. It's really problematic to try and load, especially video. Trying to load up video in the middle of live stream is a pain in the ass. Mr. Lee says, I presume it was unwanted male and female that have bred over years. Who knows? Another mystery. Well, like somebody could have released some big cats accidentally or on purpose that happen to be black. There are some melanistic jaguars and leopards that exist, and some of them in captivity. But but there may be a small population of ancient wild predatory cats that are still running around and they're just not acknowledged. Like your typical wildlife department will not admit anything really. Like the possibility of the exist, because in America, like everyone knows about the saber-toothed tiger, but what they don't know that there were other species of big predatory cats that were bigger than a saber-toothed tiger. They just didn't have huge saber teeth, you know. But you had like you had a big old leopard, you had a big lion. You know, these were bigger than saber-toothed tigers. And just because we haven't been able to find any of these, it doesn't mean they're not there. They could be still out there. They may just be still out there, and they're just, you know, if the government had to admit that they were there, now they got to admit that, look, there are these big predatory cats that have been here for millions of years and competed with humans for food and occasionally eat a human. If someone disappears in the wild in the national forests and some of them are getting eaten by these big cats, well, now somebody's going to answer for that shit. Like, why didn't you warn us that they were there? You know, we needed to know that they were there. So got your link popped up now, I think. Here we go.
Okay, if you watched this broadcast last night, and we hope you did, you saw us report on the number of bears being spotted in the upstate, and not necessarily out in the woods. They've been mingling with civilization quite a lot lately, but this story is about a whole different animal, and this thing begs the question, do the bears have some company you might not expect out in those woods? News 4's Nigel Robertson now, fresh from Cat Patrol.
It's happened again.
People are seeing something. It's a large animal and it's black. And so I don't discredit what they're seeing.
People in this Greenville County neighborhood and others off State Park Road near Paris Mountain have again reported seeing something resembling a black panther roaming at night.
It's hard to say. I don't ever tell people they didn't see something. I just need more information.
The Department of Natural Resources and Danny Howard with the Clemson Extension Office says they have been getting calls for years. Check out this black panther we found. It let us get close because we found it at Hollywild. Aside from here, we are told black panthers are not native to this area, so that doesn't mean that someone didn't have an exotic pet.
If you have no home for it, then people most likely let them loose. And so they run around without any guidance or direction in life.
So if it's not a black panther, what could it be? Howard says until someone can produce a picture, no one knows.
They really don't like people. And most animals rather be on their own than trying to. This is when you leave the dog food in the garage and they're hungry and they come up, you get the possums and the raccoons interacting with people. Plus, we're taking their habitat away.
Something roaming these woods, leaving some to wonder. Nigel Robertson, WYFF News 4, Greenville County.
Let us know what you see out there. And if you need to contact the Department of Natural Resources about a wild animal sighting, here.
No, because they're going to feed us some bullshit like that guy. Like, it was funny, some of the stuff that he said. Like, it's wandering around without guidance. What the hell do you mean it's wandering around without guidance? You mean it's wandering, it's feral and it might eat some people. Because that animal right there could certainly eat some people. This release says, I went to the zoo in Amsterdam once and saw a hippo in such small indoor swimming pool. I was heartbroken, man. Yeah. If we're going to keep some of these creatures in captivity, we need to do better than what we are. Bigfoot, yeah. Yeah, 10 miles from you is where that was at. Yeah. So, well, I can't remember. I was one of the Bigfoot Facebook groups or the cryptid Facebook groups where I saw this. Somebody posted about this story in South Jersey. Let me try and get it pulled up here. There we go. Let me switch to the other layout here. That's much more better. This was an article in the Cherry Hill Courier Post on April 7, 2023. So what were South Jersey residents confusing for a prowling panther? Police say a wandering cane corso, a very large and in this case black furred dog, appears to have generated sighting reports of a black panther in the Weymouth section of the township. Police on Friday said the dog was picked up by officers overnight and was returned to its owner. A search for a panther is now done. This is not an actual picture of the actual animal. This is just an example of a cane corso. And I got a couple of more of them further down. Animal Control of South Jersey Services, Hamilton. No one could be reached immediately at its offices. I think they were saying they were trying to contact them, and they didn't respond. The Atlantic County Lost and Found Pets Facebook page had posted a report about a missing panther, sourcing the information to Animal Control. The animal was suspected to belong to a resident not identified with a fondness for unusual pets. The site administrator, in another post responding to inquiries from residents, stated Animal Control had reports from residents of sightings in the area of Drake and 3rd Avenue. This part of Atlantic County has plenty of woods and open spaces through which even large animals can travel unobtrusively. South Jersey also is not unfamiliar with unconfirmed reports of predatory, potentially dangerous animals, ranging from coyotes to big cats to bears. Coyotes, at least, are known to be present in numbers in the region. Permit controls for exotic or wild species come under the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. New Jersey includes big cats such as panther, a potentially dangerous species for which it may or may not issue a permit to own. So I guess I could see how people who are not very familiar with animals might think that they saw a panther if they saw a dog like this that they were not familiar with. Well, especially the black ones. Like that one there, that's insane. But, and this is the problem, right? This is the problem with the whole, even with Bigfoot. Because, look, this here is a known breed of dog. And we got people mistaking it for a black panther. Now, we got a bunch of people out here claiming that they've seen Bigfoot and Dogman and all this other crap. This is a prime example of why you can't trust everyone's account. Most of those people could easily be mistaken. They think they saw a Dogman. Well, they could have saw. There's so many things they could have seen other than Dogman. A bear, a freaking kangaroo for that matter. You know, people brought up the kangaroo possibility. You know, we're talking about, you know, we're talking about Bigfoot and Dogman and all this stuff, things that we do not have a body on a slab. We have no familiarity with this creature in the way that we do dog and with panthers. We can actually see those two creatures. They're in zoos. This guy here is in somebody's yard somewhere. And these people get mad that we won't just believe all the stories. Well, we can't believe all the stories because a lot of people cannot tell that dog from a black panther. And these are animals, again, we can actually go look at these. Everyone can go see them. It's not that hard. Bigfoots and this claimed dogman thing, these are not things that we have bodies of. These are not things we have in cages. We cannot go see these things. And so I find it most likely the possibility is that people are just mistaking other things for these creatures that they claim they saw. I don't think all of them in the case of Sasquatch and Bigfoot. Now, Dogman, I think every single one of them are mistaken or liars. They're one of those two things. They're either mistaken of what they saw or they're liars. Now, they can get mad about that all they want, but I'm sorry, there ain't no damn Dogman out there. There's not remotely any kind of precedence in the fossil record to indicate such a thing is existing. What they probably saw was just a wolf or a bear or something, some kind of regular creature that they aren't able to identify very well. And the proof that that's a possibility there, that whole concept, is this right here. People mistaking a cane corso dog for a black panther. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, even that one. Yeah, I mean, it's funny how much he looks like a cat. I kind of wonder if this picture's been altered right here. He looks awful cat-like in the face. But that could still just be what that particular dog looks like. Very, very cat-like. Now, you probably should be wary of this animal. I mean, this dog could be very dangerous, but it's just so ridiculous. Like, they don't move the same way. Dogs don't move the same way as cats. They don't behave the same way as cats. This is just ridiculous. I bet animal control people are just laughing at these people making this call. So I don't know what else to. This is just a perfect example of why we can't just believe, because people say, I know what I saw. I know what I saw. Look, I have no doubt that some people know wildlife, know animals well enough to know when they have seen a black bear or a wolf or something that isn't consistent with those two animals. Sure, there are some people that do have that ability, right? They're actually familiar with those animals. They know what they look like. But then you have a whole bunch of people out there that think they know what they saw. They think that they know what they. If I saw a black bear, I would know it. If I saw a wolf, I would know it. I saw something different. They think then they get all mad because you won't believe them, and they shouldn't get mad. And the people who actually did see a Sasquatch should not get mad at people about being skeptical about that, because you can't expect people to believe anybody just based on a story, just based on an eyewitness account, because of stuff like this. This right here, that person has no way to be sure that you weren't mistaken about what you saw. They just can't be. And you have to understand that. And don't get mad at them for not being willing to just believe, a story that you think you saw something. Um, 10 miles from you. Already saw that one. Uncle Bone says, Danny, maybe what is making some of the noises you've been hearing? Mr. Lee says, releasing wild, dangerous animals like that is careless. There are plenty of sanctuaries in America. It could kill a child. Yeah, absolutely. King Corsos are massive. Leon Burger, even bigger. Let's see, Starlog is here. Uncle Bon says, Mr. Lee, you need a snow shovel for a pooper scooper. Yeah. Big dog. Big dog. What, my sister's great, Dan, I need a bin bag. Like a trash bin? Trash bag? Gentle Giants, though, the King Corso. Probably are. I don't think I've ever really interacted with one. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, I sent you a picture of my mate's Dave's massive. He's massive. Check email again, Gentle Giant. Just now? Did you just now send it, Mr. Lee? Because is it an old email? Because I don't got any new emails from you. Nope. Must be an old email, Mr. Lee. It must be. Let me get the next article. Next article pulled up. Boom, there we go. I don't know where I got this one at exactly. But this article is titled Man Reports Black Panther Sighting in Boca Cheeto. It's a few months old, January. Bobcats might be a common sighting in Boca Cheeto, but Black Panthers are a rarity. The last reported Black Panther sighting in Mississippi came from a man in Washington, just north of Natchez in 2019. Douglas McLean said he saw a Black Panther on his property on Lee Drive in Boca Cheeto on January 18th. It was about 4 p.m. when the big dark cat walked across a 10-foot wide lane for ATVs he had cut behind his house. It was as clear as blacktop, McLean said, and leads to a 30-foot drop-off of a bluff down to a creek. McLean was working on his lawnmower and discovered the battery was dead. He brought his four-wheeler around the house, saw his black dog underneath the truck, and pulled around to the back of the lawnmower. He saw a silhouette move through the trees and eased over to where he could see the cleared travel lane, killed the four-wheeler's engine, and waited. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted something black. I couldn't tell what kind of animal it was at first, but I knew it wasn't my dog, McLean said. I waited to see what it was, and I saw it was a big cat as it crossed the lane. It walked across and never picked its head up or nothing. The cat didn't look at me. I knew it was a panther. He called the MDWFP office in Magnolia to report the sighting, but they told him the state doesn't have black panthers. McLean did not have a photo or a trail cam set up on his property as he no longer hunts, but he does enjoy seeing the wildlife. Sitting on the four-wheeler, he watched it and stayed as still as he could be. He didn't have his phone with him to take a picture because he didn't expect to see anything behind the house besides a deer or maybe a squirrel. It was definitely a panther. It had a long tail which curled up at the end. I seen the whole cat walk across. There was no mistaking it, McLean said. Maybe someone else around here has seen one or has one on their trail cams. Originally from Satsuma, Louisiana, McLean said he had hunted as long as he could shoot a gun. His brother used to deer hunt with dogs in the Atchafalaya swamp. And one day the dogs found a black panther scratching its claws on a bent over tree. Over the years, he has seen bobcats and black bears. He is confident he saw a black panther on the property. McLean has lived there for the past 3 years. It goes down to a creek bottom with bluffs, and they are close to swampland and the Bokchito River. He suspects it was traveling. I've been in the woods a long time, or long enough to know I didn't want to fool with it, McLean said. I know a cat when I see one. It was a panther. Rumors of Black Panther sightings, stories, and tales are passed around in Mississippi, but the Mississippi Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and Parks has never reported an official sighting. Mississippi State Extension Service Assistant Professor Leslie M. Berger wrote an article in 2016 about the history of black bears and panthers in Mississippi. Black bears have made a comeback in recent years along the Mississippi River and the Delta from bears moving over from Arkansas and Louisiana. Panthers are also known as cougars or mountain lions, and black bears once had a healthy population in Mississippi back when the state was covered in forests and swamps and before humans clear-cut timber for farming purposes, she wrote. Bears were hunted close to extinction, and panthers were forced out of the state due to overhunting and habitat loss. Panther populations reside in Florida, Texas, and other states out west, according to Berger's article. Solitary big cat sightings are common in the southeast, Berger wrote. Sightings could be attributed to misidentification, released exotic pets, or rarely animals passing through from places like Texas where lions still live. Bobcats are bigger than a domestic cat, but smaller than a cougar. Could be born melanistic. Okay, I messed that sentence up. Bobcats, which are bigger than a domestic cat but smaller than a cougar, could be born melanistic. The genetic mutation is rare in bobcats, but could be a reason behind sightings of black panthers. Black bears and black coyotes could fit the bill for a panther at a distance. MDWFP says people can send a photo of a sighting to their regional office or the Jackson office, and a biologist can come out and investigate the sighting. Officially, the department states Mississippi does not have black panthers and has never had an official sighting of the animal. Well, probably because they dismiss them all. Like, I don't think we can trust the wildlife departments anywhere. They always want to deny. When we know damn good and well that there are mountain lions in probably the entire 48, the lower 48, and Alaska. So we definitely got mountain lions, and we probably got a lot more jaguars than they want to admit. And of course, we haven't. I don't think we looked at that trail cam picture here yet, but we will at some point. I need to find it. Where somebody caught in south central Oklahoma a straight up African lion on their trail cam. So it's here. Freaking, this is all that damn Carol Baskin's fault. Or is it? Is it the Tiger King's fault? Like, people say that he released a bunch of cats. But again, as you saw up above there, I had a picture of a black house cat, and a black house cat can be mistaken for a panther. That's totally a possibility. People, if you're looking at it from a distance and the perspective is off and you're not able to judge size correctly, you could be looking at a large black house cat, and it's as simple as that. So I'm completely open to the possibility that there are actual black panthers running around in potentially the entire United States except for Hawaii. But I also know for a fact that a large black house cat can be mistaken for a black panther. Of course, these pictures here are some fantasy images. I'm sure nobody has seen any of these creatures. Battle cat there. That's some. I don't know the art. I can't read the artist's name who made his own interpretation of Cringer or Battle Cat. I don't know which one this one's supposed to be. He doesn't look very cringy, so he must be Battle Cat without his armor. And of course, the blue line, and everybody knows Black Panther, who apparently is not a very popular in China. Mr. Lee says just sent. Oh, when I checked a while ago, I didn't see it, Mr. Lee. Icon's here. He says, I made it. Mr. Lee says it's not affordable to keep big cats, though. Dumb people don't realize. Well, that's kind of what being dumb is all about, Mr. Lee. Well, let me see if what we looking at here. Is this a Cane Corso dog? Oh, dang it. Do not lock up on me, computer. That's about as much as I can zoom in on it. Let's see if I can bring it up. Come on. There we go. Mr. Lee's cat. Or dog, sorry. Mr. Lee's dog. Or Mr. Lee's friend's dog. Is a picture of your mate Dave's massive. Is it massive? What do you mean? You mean, is he a Cane Corso? Or is he a Mastiff? Looks like it might be a Cane Corso. Massive, check email, gentle giant. English Mastiff. English Mastiff. Icon says, Mr. Lee, I've listened in for most part. Been a hectic day, and Mr. Pup needed his pup time. Also took him for a walk. So, Mr. Lee, yeah, Mastiff's big dog. His name is Mario. Are you serious, Mr. Lee? Named him after a video game. Apparently, some people are liking the new movie. I won't ever watch it because I never gave that much of a shit about Mario Brothers to start with. I don't know why I would want to watch a movie about freaking Mario Brothers. I remember the old movie that they made a long time ago was dumb as hell. Video games for mostly are not like, high quality stories, it's just some dumb shit. You go in, you do some stupid crap, and it's not just because it made a good video game does not mean it makes a good movie. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous crap. Mario is 90 pounds, Mr. Lee says. Well, good for Mario. Good for Mario, Mr. Lee. Got another article set up on here. This is kind of long, though. It's got a lot of stories in it. Let me make sure it popped up right. Yeah. This comes from Magnolia State Live. It's from February this year. Nearly 30 more people submit Mississippi Panther sightings. This past weekend, Magnolia State Live posted an article about reported panther sightings in Mississippi. Since then, there have been nearly 30 more people with panther stories and big cat photos from Sardis Lake in northern Mississippi to Pass Christian on the Gulf Coast. Reports were scattered all over the state, but the pattern of panther reports grouped together in a few certain areas was certainly intriguing. Some of the reports were recent, while others were from decades ago, recollections from childhood memories. I've lived in Mississippi since 1987, Tara Houston wrote. On this day around 2010, I was driving home, Poplarville, Pearl River County, Millard community from North Mississippi as my son had a baseball game earlier in the evening. Gonna have to fix this real quick because I can't read it. Slight problem with the this article. I'll get it fixed here real quick. Yep. There we go. Hate it when stuff like that goes wrong. But I got it now. The sun had set, and the only light that was off my headlamps. The only light was that off my headlamps. I was only a few miles from my exit 19, I-59, when I saw a large animal leap across the interstate, not exactly knowing at first what I witnessed. What stood out to me was its long tail and how it was used to balance its leap so perfectly. I was absolutely mesmerized as my headlamps caught this sight. Truly magnificent and jaw-dropping to say the least. I couldn't be 100% of its color other than dark in color, but I'm 100% sure that it was a cougar or panther type breed. It was so large that the tail was incredible. What I wouldn't give to have a picture of it, or what I would give. Another Pearl River County report came in from just up the interstate. Several years ago, my husband was out walking early one morning on DuPont Hart's Chapel Road in Poplarville near Juniper Creek. Ruby Kennan reported he saw what we believe to be a dark-colored panther or cougar with a long tail. He called and spoke to someone with the wildlife department and was told that there are no large cats in our area, although they suspected that someone in the Hattiesburg area had released a cougar into the wild and that my husband may have seen that one. They did give him the name of someone in Florida to share what he saw. He was told that all the panthers are in an area somewhere in Florida, although some male panthers can travel around 200 miles from home. I remember years ago, back in the 1950s, Daddy had us sit out on the back steps in the early evening so we could hear the scream of a panther, and we did. It sounded sort of like a woman screaming. This was DuPont Hart's Chapel Road also. We even got word from others during this time to be on guard because a panther had been sighted in our area. Juniper Creek runs back in the woods behind our house. It is undisturbed for the most part, and I would not be surprised if there are still panthers, cougars roaming in that area. Teresa Lott has several examples of her and her family encountering the panthers. About 30 to 40 years ago, my sister-in-law and I heard a panther scream, she reported. We live in the Sunflower community, Perkinston address, Stone County. We were walking down an old dirt road toward Red Creek when we heard a woman-like scream, but it was more animal than human. My sister-in-law said it was a panther because she had heard one before. About 50 years ago, my brother-in-law saw a black panther in Tuxachany, Stone County, when he was a teenager. While walking from his house in Stone County to a main road for exercise, my dad knew something was stalking him on the edge of the woods. He finally caught a glimpse of a black panther. He walked a little further before turning around. The panther didn't follow him. Sullivan's Hollow in Smith County is a place of legends and folklore, and panther reports are certainly possible in such a unique place. One time, my mother went out after dark to hang some clothes on the clothesline, and she had me holding a flashlight so she could see, Janice Norris wrote. Just then, we heard the panther scream, just like a woman in pain. It screamed about 3 times. We made it to our back porch and turned around, and it was in our yard. We both saw it. Needless to say, we didn't go out at night anymore, but we heard it screaming all the time. This was in Sullivan's Hollow. I was coming through Sunrise in Forest County about dark 11 years ago. Les Burkall submitted, just past where Sunrise School used to be, when a reddish-brown animal ran in front of my truck. Thinking deer, I soon realized it was twice as long as a deer and had a long tail. Definitely was a big cat. I too saw a panther in our neck of the woods in Duck Hill, Gwen Baskin wrote. It was more than 15 years ago. On the way home from work late one evening, an animal slowly crossed the dirt about 2 miles from home. It was in no hurry. At first, I thought it was a deer, but I recognized its legs were too short. His torso and tail were too long to be a deer. His head was too thick and short. He had the color of a deer, brownish gray. I later mentioned it to my family, and they said they have had their own experiences. I saw a black panther 2 years ago on Head Start Lane in Amite County, wrote Gwyneth Fletcher. In the afternoon of March 2020, I called wildlife because of COVID-19. No one came out. I called police, same response. It was in the field across from my house. I thought it was a bear. It was so big. I reported it to my landlord at the time. He said he was aware of it and had chased it away. My neighbor down the road saw a black panther trying to get at her hunting dogs and flashed a spotlight, causing it to run away. About 4 years ago, my grandson and I saw a big brown cat going down from my mom's home towards the woods behind her house, Diane Sanford wrote. It was not a small cat. It was not a bobcat. It was a cougar or panther, whatever you call it. I was shocked to see it. I did not act scared. It did not act scared. It just kept on walking slowly on its way. We live in Covington County around the Collins Seminary area in the Mount Horeb Church community. I grew up in the 50s or early 60s east of Coffeyville, John L. Brassel wrote. I heard the big cat that made a scream that sounded like a woman several times. Once, when I was about 20, I was jogging on a country road at sundown. I heard the scream about 100 yards away, and a few seconds later from about 20 yards. It made my hair stand on end. Several years later, my brother-in-law saw one on Old Highway 7 between Coffeyville and Water Valley. He had finished the night shift at his work after midnight. The long black cat crossed the road in front of him and jumped up on a bank beside the highway and stopped. He stopped and they looked at each other for 3 or 4 minutes before the cat turned and walked away. He said it was black, long, slender with a long tail. It was graceful, was about to leap up a 6-foot bank with ease. Some people, such as Daniel Whidden, submitted photos. I have photo proof of one on my dad's land in Purvis, he wrote. That picture was taken about 2 years ago during the summer, Jennifer Duclos wrote as she described the photo. My property runs off the natural gas pipeline in Foxworth around Highway 35 South and Anderson Canal Road. I have 4 ponds on my property, so it's a good water source for wildlife. I know that they say no panthers in Mississippi, but when I showed neighbors pictures, some of the old timers told me that in the books in Columbia, it has been documented about 75 to 100 years ago, these cats were brought here and let loose to help control deer population at that time. So, look, a lot of these cases, I almost guarantee are mistaken identities. Because people who know animals, even people who know animals, can make the mistake. I've seen it happen where the perspective is off. It's hard to judge size sometimes of a creature. And a big black tomcat can certainly be mistaken for a black panther under the right conditions. And so a lot of these cases you just cannot take them all as just being fact. You just can't. But what I also don't believe is the wildlife department saying that there are no big cats in those areas. These big cats are the cougars are everywhere. They're everywhere. And the thing about the black jaguars that are around is they just stand out more. They're easier to spot than a cougar in its normal coloration. It blends in too well. But a black jaguar stands out. Even a normal colored jaguar is going to stand out to some extent. But to the normal human eye, right? But not near as much as a black jaguar. Trying to get back over on StreamYard here. Icon says Dang, Loki is 79 pounds. He has about an extra 6 or 7 snack pounds, though. He's got some snack pounds on him. Mr. Lee says, Icon, no thank you for emails. By the way, I haven't had a chance to reply yet, but I will. Been busy. Kitty. Yeah, lots of kitties. Squashing Cowboys here. He says, Mr. Lee, what did I miss? You know what he's going to say. Mr. Lee says, my tabby cat Bishop, named after the android and aliens, died after 21 years old. Long life, yeah. Cowboys a knucklehead. Mr. Lee, you're supposed to say that you missed everything. And you did. You did miss everything. Everything I got pulled up anyway. Squash Cowboy says, just trying to find out what I miss and get called a knucklehead. Damn it, boy. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, you should ask the peeps to send their Sasquatch encounters in. Do you make better narrator than Steve Ishtal? Well, I mean, yeah, well, I guess in the sense that I will tell you that probably a lot of those encounter stories are just people mistaking a big black tomcat, because it does happen with people that are very familiar with animals. Still, it can happen. So, nobody's immune. Well, very few people are immune. But Steve Ishtal, now he'll read all of them. He'll just read them all, and he just whatever. He don't even know. There's no. He don't know where they come from. We don't know where he's getting them. Really, and so if there isn't at least the acknowledgement that because some of those stories he reads are nuts. I'm just reading kitty cat stories here. But he's reading some crazy shit, Sasquatch trying to get into nuclear power plants and all kinds of crazy crap. It's ridiculous, some of the stuff he's read. A bunch of woo weirdos here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they wouldn't come here because of, I would say, look, you probably can't believe the email I just read, because that was ridiculously implausible. What which is about 90% of Steve Ishtal's emails, I think. Let's not stick to that number too hard now. It might be 91% or 89%, but some percent that's pretty high of the emails that Steve's getting are probably complete bullshit. Squash Cowboy says, going in the swamp squatching next week to check out a sighting of 2 Bigfoots, and I'm going alone. Well, we hope you survive. Go in strapped. Try not to shoot all the Bigfoots, I guess. Icon says you do have a point. Who does? Mr. Lee? Risking your life again, cowboy? I don't know. If he goes in there with a 6-shooter, he's going to be all right. Just want to do it alone, he says. Icon says, yeah, Mr. Pup is a snack hound, a.k.a. American food pointer. Mr. Lee says, cowboy, I will be with you in spirit, man. Well, why don't you just get over here and be with him in person, Mr. Lee? Lady says, Ishtal is a good shtick going. I don't know why people worry about him. Well, it just sucks that, all the people, like, why don't they want to, actually, they want to be told a bedtime story. You know, they act like, and they want to believe they're actually getting the truth out of him, and they're not getting anything out of him. He's reading emails. That's it. Which is fine. It's just like, do these people want to get to the actual bottom of things? Are they gonna, put their time and effort checking out the Lockbeard channel, where we'll actually, call bullshit on some stupid stuff, and maybe we can focus on things that are more likely, and get closer to the truth in that way. Because you're not going to get anywhere near the truth if you go over to some channels and listen to people talking about dogman nonsense, because they're just buying into any kind of bullshit anybody says. But people that have a little bit of scientific literacy should be able to figure out that dogman is probably not a thing. Bigfoot could definitely be a thing. No dogman. No dogman. Like, so we going to stop any of that. Like Coyote is going to need a bigger lance. I believe Icon says, I believe. Good evening. He bit of a big head, though, that Ishtal fella. Lots of gators. Lots of gators. Well, that means you don't have to you don't have to pack a lunch, right? There's gators out there. You can just eat them. Vast number of people want that story. Not everyone has interest in solving the mystery. But I want to steal the mystery from it all. I want to destroy the mystery. Like, there's no point, to me, there's no point in having a mystery that's never solved. Like, if you're never going to solve the mystery, why even have the damn mystery? Who gives a shit? Like, a mystery, I think, should be solved, and we should solve it as fast and as thoroughly as we can, and then find a new mystery. I mean, I would think people be bored at this. People should be bored at this point with this whole nonsense. They should be bored. I mean, that's the whole point. Like, in the whole mystery genre and books and movies, if you went and watched a mystery movie or read a mystery novel and the mystery was not solved, you would probably like call up the author or call up the movie studio and cuss them out. So, look, you're supposed to solve the damn mystery. But we never solved the damn mystery. People just want to listen to this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Scotch Cowboy says, I just noticed I'm not blue. What the fuck? Oh, I haven't added you on this channel yet. This is a new channel, Cowboy. Because YouTube has been putting me through the paces and all that stuff. So you should be added now. Should be added now. Gator boots. Yeah, he can make some gator boots and have lunch. Lady says, did I see you're going to do some gator wrestling? Cowboy says, no, I don't like them suckers. Just eat them. Lady says, I am all about solving the mystery, but I don't care what other people do. Mr. Lee says, hit it, you knuckleheads. Raptor getting here in the last 30 seconds. Welcome, Raptor. What's up? We are going to wrap her up in a second, though. You're kind of late to the show, man. Blue Super Cowboy. Must have the Blue Super Cowboy. So, I don't know. Yes, I'm blue. You're blue. You're blue now. You're blue now. Raptor should not be blue. Raptor don't like to be blue for some reason. I don't know what his deal is. I think it's too much pressure. I don't know why. Like, there's no pressure here. Like, don't ban anybody. Don't worry about. Let people say whatever crap they want to say. And you know, the thing we worry about is bots, and we haven't had any bots in a while. We haven't had any bots in a while. Those film clips you sent, hilarious, fantastic. You wait. Need to make a short out of some. I'm trying to figure out what. Like, I had an idea and I kind of lost it. Like, putting together like a short video with some of Cowboys clips. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm trying to put together though. You know, like, I don't know where it's not. It throws it twists the outcome. Twist the outcome. It's not going to be exactly what it was. It's got to switch something around somehow. I just ain't figured out how yet. Raptor says I don't know how to do it with a blue wrench. Well, you don't got to do anything. That's the thing. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit there, hold your wrench. You'll be like a security guard. Like, a security guard might stand there and just not do anything for his entire career. But anyone coming around looking for trouble, they see a security guard and they're like, oh, I ain't going to screw around here. They got security guards. And then, so the security guard never has to do anything because everybody sees a security guard and they're like, oh, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to deal with that shit. So when people come here, they'll see all those blue wrenches and they'll be like, you know what? I ain't going to jack with this channel. I'll be banned in half a second. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, you must do it. Short clip cowboy. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I was going to do, though. Something funny. Gonna do something different with it. I don't know what though. Squashing Cowboy says, do it. Do it. He says, do it. Mr. Lee popping up the Squashing Cowboy link there. Raptor says, security guards get in trouble too. And nobody's going to get in trouble here. Yeah, wrench. This wrench don't mean you don't have to do anything here. Cowboy says, like a construction woker on the highway. Not doing anything, standing there. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we've gone way over 2 hours. After says Cowboy, it's funny. That's like either slow or stop. Slow or stop. Mr. Lee, we ain't your buddy Tom Cruise ain't rolled in today. What's up with that? Then I can't fight this feeling anymore. He's neglecting you. I need to make some more of them Tom Cruise shorts. But I've run out of Tom Cruise's gay shorts. Wonder if that actually bothers him.
Yeah, now turn around and lay an egg on the glass.
We ain't seen Timmy here in a while. Donald's not here. Where's Donald at?
I'm surrounded by assholes.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Icon says, what's this 2-hour nonsense? We need a newsathon. We might do some news day after tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. For the Saturday thing, try to keep it with paranormal stuff, although we failed to some extent to keep it to paranormal stuff tonight. Tom says, I will sue you all. Welcome to the chat, Tom. Icon says, I don't need to see Tom Cruise shorts. What kind of shorts do you need to see? Cowboy says, damn, Tom, you are later than me. Thank you, lady. Thanks for dropping in, hanging out. I summoned him. Raptor, probably not. Unless the only possibility I can think of at the moment is if Central Florida Bigfoot, maybe, but he hasn't been having a regular Saturday live stream for a long time, so he's probably not on. I don't see him on. Well, it kind of qualifies. It's not so much paranormal, but it kind of qualifies with the cryptids, you know, undiscovered animals or animals that people don't believe are out there, and so it kind of fits in the cryptid realm, although it's not really paranormal. Ghost Panthers or something. Well, it's funny you should say that, because I think that there is a possibility that some of the sightings of a lot of things that people have may be ghosts of those things. Like there may be some of the Bigfoot sightings may be a Bigfoot ghost, or a pterosaur or pterodactyl sighting might be a ghost of a pterodactyl. And the Black Panther is the same thing. They might actually just be seeing the ghost, and that's why it's hard to pin these things down and so on. Icon says, will someone feed what? Will someone feed the walking carpet, please? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. There's one of my shorts I posted today, actually.
Go home, old woman. You people haven't changed in 100 years. You should know. You were there. Go home, old woman. You people haven't changed in 100 years.
Jadan has admitted his guilt.
That's true. He will stand for his crime.
Tarsus has all but done the same.
How?
He refused to answer the question about his Romulan grandfather.
That is not a crime, Worf. Nor can we infer his guilt because he didn't respond.
Sir, if a man were not afraid of the truth, he would answer.
Oh, no. We cannot allow ourselves to think that. The seventh guarantee is one of the most important rights granted.
Feed. See you later, Raptor, if you're saying goodbye. Icon says, I have considered posting videos of my shorts. You've considered posting shorts? Yeah, if you can get into putting them together, it's supposed to help grow your channel. So they say. So they say. If I could find any video of Mr. Lee, I could make all kinds of Mr. Lee shorts, but Mr. Lee never goes on camera. Now I can show you, let me see here. Just a second. So Icon, I don't know if you use Canva or not. Do you use Canva? Because that's what I do a lot of my stuff on. So like that today was the short I made out of the Ron DeSantis ad. Where Ron DeSantis was slurping a sloppy one on Donald Trump's schlong. No, not cannabis. Canva, what you see on the screen right now. CANVA. Takes a while to figure out how to use it and all that stuff, but once you do, like, you can get in there and there's different templates, and then they have this here where you can make your shorts in the right template, and you can add music and stuff. Over there on the left, there's that bar on the left. You can add videos. A lot of times it'll have this has a lot of stuff you can use. You can actually background remove within the video. Like down here on this, let me see if I can pull this thing off here. Come on. It's not going to function. There we go. See, that's just a video, because I had some space down there at the bottom that kind of needed to fill it up with something, so I put that in there. Have you seen this ad that DeSantis made back in the day when he was slurping on Donald Trump? He was riding Donald Trump coattails, like just humping that leg. And he was having his wife help him do it. His wife this is his wife. This is slurping on Donald Trump's schlong.
Then Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
He's teaching Madison to talk. My husband, Ron DeSantis is endorsed by President Trump, but he's also an amazing dad. Ron loves playing with the kids.
Build the wall.
He reads stories.
Then Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
He's teaching Madison to talk.
Make America great again.
People say Ron's all Trump, but he is so much more.
Big league. So good.
I just thought you should know.
Ron DeSantis for governor.
That was so freaking pathetic. Use chimp clip clap. Use Canva. Yeah, Canva's a pretty useful tool. Icon says I fucking give up with this thing. Having trouble spelling. Clip champ. Yeah. Icon says, there, damn it. Now, what were we talking about? Yeah, that was pretty cringe ad. So now, like, of course, I guess he hasn't officially decided to run against Trump, but Trump's acting like he's going to. something's up. Like, I don't know. And then the whole thing where he didn't really want to get involved with Trump potentially being arrested for some bullshit. And like Ron DeSantis humping Donald Trump's leg that much, he should be wholeheartedly, full bore, publicly announcing that he is standing with Trump and he's going to do everything within his power to protect Trump from this bullshit investigation again. But instead, he's all being standoffish about it. And, Ron DeSantis is a backstabbing little bitch down there, as best I can tell. You don't hump Trump's leg like you do in that video, and then turn around and don't make a statement. No uncertain terms that you're standing by Trump and you're going to help him in any way you can to avoid an illegal investigation, which it does appear to be. Lockbeard, maybe I'm really that Thai lady catfish. What? What, Mr. Lee? What are you talking about, Mr. Lee? Well, I don't know. I'm not familiar with what you're using. You may like this. I don't know. Like over here on the side, you can click on design. There's some templates and stuff there. Elements. I'm always using this stuff. There's graphics. Just all kinds of stuff there. Photos. Those are just photos there, and then you can get like video clips and any video clip you got. Oh, up here above it, you can see, edit video. Like you can clip, adjust the clip here. Shave off the ends. Can't really cut anything out of the middle on this here, but you can cut off the ends where it's no good. Crop, you could flip. But back over here on the side, so you've got some videos. Like you can kind of use some search terms and find something that might fit with whatever you're doing. There's an upload option over here on the left, so you can upload whatever video, like you can see where what I recently uploaded is for the shorts I've done. You see the DeSantis one. You see the 2 Star Trek ones you probably saw on the channel. You saw the one I did out of the clipped out of the tall ones video. Which hopefully, like if people run across my short of his clips there, like you're not really getting the full story out of a 55-second or 45-second short. So hopefully that drives some traffic over to the tall ones because he deserves it. So I got a Graham Hancock. You see where I uploaded the video for Graham Hancock. You can do text, you can do all kinds of different stuff with your text. I haven't used this draw function. See, I haven't even used all this stuff, but see, we got I'll just try it out right now. Apparently you can draw on this thing. Yep, apparently you can draw on this thing. What's that, an eraser? Yep, eraser. Well, yeah, I haven't used that particular function. And then you can add audio down here towards the bottom. So you can just kind of search for different music, and you can play. If you hit right here on the play button next to it, it'll give you a little sample clip of whatever it is. Anyway, you might want to try it out. Might work better for you. I don't know. Mr. Lisa Lockbeard, that what you use to do your intro? Is it free? Some I had to do. I can't remember which parts too because I've had to use iMovie because there's only so much Canva can do. So you'd have to play around with it and figure out what exactly, because like doing a long video, you can't do it on Canva. So you have to use iMovie. But there's certain things that you can kind of do on Canva that you can't do on other stuff very easily. It's kind of weird. And then there's things you can do on iMovie that you cannot do on Canva. So sometimes I will take something and I'll put it in iMovie and make the edits and adjustments there that I want to make there, and then save it and then put it into Canva and then make some other changes there to get everything I want done as easily as possible. But probably it's just the fact that I'm not 100% I don't 100% know how to use iMovie well enough that maybe everything I need to do can be done on iMovie. I don't know, but sometimes I'll end up having something loaded into both of them in the process of fixing it up. Squash Cowboy says I also use Cool Text for the lettering. Look it up; it's kind of cool and free. Mr. Lee says you have to have StreamYard for that. No, just go to canva.com, Mr. Lee. Canva.com. And there's a free version and then there's a paid version. Like there's certain features you won't have if you don't have the paid version. Icon says Cowboy. That's a neat site. I was thinking typing fonts at first. That's much more. Well, I mean, there's like hundreds of fonts on Canva, so I've never really had a need to get fonts elsewhere. Because you can, I mean, there's hundreds of font. I mean, I don't even know. There's a whole lot of different fonts on Canva, and you can, fiddle with them in different ways to, so there's like thousands of possibilities really with fonts on Canva. So I really haven't felt the need to find any other source of fonts. Yeah. Cowboy says if you can't find it there, you just can't find it. Yeah. And of course, for that metallic look on LOCKBEARD, it's really tiny at the top of the screen that you're looking at. But, my banners and that like that, I made in what do you call that thing? So anyway, it's a real pain in the ass. So like trying to learn, like it's a whole nother thing to learn. Pandora, is that what it's called? No, it's not that. Anyway, it's a pain to learn. It's just I wanted a really good high resolution, it has the texture and the lighting and the reflections, and like you kind of really getting complicated about creating the image of the text. Well, you don't even have to have text in there, but it's just you can do any kind of intros in it. Why can't I remember the name of it right now? I haven't used it in so long. Is a problem. I haven't used it in forever. So let me find it real quick. Where is it at? Well, Panzoid. It's Panzoid. But you're going to be spending some time trying to figure out how to use Panzoid. It's free, though. It's free. Mr. Lisa Lockbeard, I can do video of myself. I just feel comfortable going live. It's very uncomfortable for me. I freeze up, don't have your confidence. You don't need any of that, Mr. Lee. Just turn on the freaking thing and just say some shit. See, Cowboys says, oh, come on, Mr. Lee. Stage fright. Use Filmora to edit your videos. I've never tried that. Is it free to use? I got iMovie on the computer, so that's what I use a lot of the time. But if it's short videos, for the most part, I've been doing it on Canva. Although it has its idiosyncrasies, it has its certain things that are difficult to do, and like again, it may be just I don't know 100% how to use Canva, because like I'll have to do like one function I can't do in one particular template, so I'll end up doing it in a different template, saving it, and then re-uploading it to the other template to make it work. And it's just like, you'd think it'd be an easier way to do this stuff. $39 for a lifetime subscription. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to scrape up $39 right now. The pandemics and YouTube's bull has taken a heavy toll. Icon says, Mr. Lee says the dude that never goes live. Yep, he never goes live. He never goes live. He's just... And if he did go live, he'd sound kind of like Timmy.
Level out, Timmy.
Just like that. Come on, Mr. Lee. Slay your demons. Squashing Cowboy says, it's so easy, a cowboy can do it. So Lisa's icon, all the mystery would be gone then. Well, like I said, Mr. Lee, mysteries are meant to be solved.
Never need to see another one of those for the rest of my damn life.
Yep. Mysteries are meant to be solved, Mr. Lee.
So wait, what's the crime? The crime is he isn't doing it with me. This is serious. We need to track this student down and give him his luckiest boy in America medal right away.
Yep. All right. Well, we've strung this out long enough. Thanks everybody for hanging out, and maybe a day or two we'll do a random live and all that good stuff. So I'll see y'all next time.